Rick Moranis largely stepped away from Hollywood around 1997, choosing to focus on raising his children. Since then, he has lived a private life with occasional voice acting projects. Mara Wilson left mainstream acting in the early 2000s after her child star years. She later became a writer and playwright, focusing on books and stage work. Jack Gleeson stepped back from Hollywood in 2014, shortly after global fame. He shifted his focus to theater and academic studies, avoiding large film projects. Gene Hackman officially retired from acting around 2004. He went on to live quietly and became a novelist, staying completely out of Hollywood. Cameron Diaz stepped away from acting in 2014. She transitioned into business, co-founding wellness and lifestyle brands. Daniel Day-Lewis retired from acting in 2017, ending his legendary career. Since then, he has lived privately, away from public attention. Phoebe Cates left Hollywood in the mid-1990s. She later opened and managed a boutique in New York, choosing a quiet, personal life. Bridget Fonda stepped away from acting around 2002. She has remained out of Hollywood, focusing on family life. Freddie Prinze Jr. reduced his Hollywood presence in the late 2000s. He shifted toward writing, voice acting, and professional wrestling commentary. Josh Hartnett stepped back from major Hollywood roles around 2011. He later focused on family life and selective projects. Macaulay Culkin distanced himself from Hollywood in the mid-1990s. In recent years, he has appeared occasionally while focusing on creative projects. Taylor Lautner slowed down his Hollywood career after 2016. He chose a more private lifestyle with limited acting roles. Shelley Duvall largely left Hollywood in the early 2000s. She lived privately for many years, away from the film industry. Danny Lloyd left acting after his childhood role in 1980. He later became a biology professor, returning to public view only through conventions. Kevin Jonas stepped away from acting in the late 2000s. He became an entrepreneur and worked in music management. Leelee Sobieski left Hollywood around 2012. She transitioned into visual art and painting full-time. Peter Ostrom left acting after 1971, following a single major film role. He later became a veterinarian. Jeff Cohen stepped away from acting in the late 1980s. He pursued law and became a successful entertainment lawyer. Amber Benson reduced her Hollywood acting work in the mid-2000s. She focused on writing, directing, and independent projects. Jonathan Taylor Thomas stepped back from Hollywood around 2003. He prioritized education and made only rare acting appearances. Misha Barton reduced mainstream Hollywood roles after 2010. She later appeared in indie projects and explored fashion interests. Nikki Blonsky stepped away from major Hollywood roles after 2007. She later worked in the beauty industry with occasional acting. Cary Elwes reduced major film roles in the 2000s. He shifted towards selective acting, writing, and producing. Sean Connery retired from acting around 2006. He lived privately until the end of his life. Eliza Bennett stepped back from Hollywood films in the late 2000s. She focused more on education and stage work. Brandon Routh reduced major Hollywood films after 2010. He later focused on television roles. Chris Klein stepped back from mainstream Hollywood in the mid-2000s. He continued working quietly in TV and indie films. Devon Sawa reduced Hollywood exposure after 2005. He later returned with selective independent projects. Skeet Ulrich stepped away from major Hollywood films in the early 2000s. He later focused on television roles with a lower public profile.